steps. What does that mean? Well, first, and this is what we're kicking off this week, is that first bullet point, listening to the community, talking to them and figuring out what their vision is for Monument. This is a comprehensive plan isn't something you just farm out to a group in St. Louis or a group in Chicago and say, hey, send us something in a year. This is a community-led and a community-driven process. And so after we have a foundation of existing conditions and a realization of what goals are in the community, what their identity is, then we define goals about where to go from there. How do we grow these into something actionable? So once those goals are in place, we develop strategies. Okay, we realize you want to get here. How do you do that? And so we develop strategies, and that's where we're able to synthesize as professional planners and landscape architects and designers. We synthesize that first step and the goals into a series of strategies. That's the expertise we can bring. And then from that, we take these goals and strategies, we air them out with the community, and we'll get into that. So the end result is a comprehensive plan. So what is a comprehensive plan? Let's look at it at a high level on this next slide. Dan? Thank you. So the comp plan is first and foremost, that middle bullet point is middle bullet point is the community vision. And it represents what the community tells us. Again, it's a community-led process, and the document itself speaks to business owners in Monument and residents in Monument, people who make this their home and invest not just financially, but emotionally in the community. And it sets policy and direction. This is a guiding document about Monument and shaping its development and its growth moving forward. And it's comprehensive in nature. And what does that mean? It means it doesn't just touch on housing. It doesn't just touch on streets. It doesn't just say, okay, these pipes will need to be up to 12-inch widths within a decade. It takes all these different systems within the community and synthesizes them all together. If you're going to have housing out here, this is going to need X, Y, and Z to support it. And a big part of the quality of life in Monument is the open space and parks and trails network. All right, for that to be improved and for that to grow, X, Y, and Z also need to happen. So it's our job as part of a comprehensive plan to pull all these different pieces together and not just have these siloed chapters, a transportation and mobility chapter, a housing chapter. No, all these things work together way too much to just be these finite little chunks. So that is what the comprehensive plan is. And I know we want to keep this moving. There's a huge storm coming. So I hope that gives you an idea. And of course, we'll be here to answer questions. So what I'd like to do now is touch on the three phases of what goes into the comprehensive plan. So next slide, please, Dan. Oh, well, this turned out dreadfully, and this is very hard to read, but I hope you can get it. Are you able to read it on your monitors?
Yes.
Okay, it's just here on these screens. So this is a three-phase process. And we're heading headlong into the first phase this week. And it is to establish existing conditions. Because to figure out where you want to go, we need a shared understanding of where we're starting. So this first phase, engage and assess, that's where we'll do a lot of analysis and assessment of existing conditions and engage with the public to learn as much as we possibly can about the town of Monument and what residents view it now as what they view the strengths are, the assets, where they think the town can improve. And it's not just residents, as you know, it's myriad other groups. And we'll touch on that in a second. The second phase of the project is sort of this initial, okay, here's what we heard. Here's what where I think we want to go. Here are some goals, and here's some initial strategies how to get there. It's a lot of testing the water. Okay, does this resonate with you when you think about a mixed-use building in downtown Monument? Is it 7 stories high? Heck no, it's not. Okay, and this is where we get that information, and we start to narrow down what growth means. And if you say what makes a downtown great to 5 different people, you're going to get 5 different answers, and that's not even the high school kids. And so it's synthesizing all these things we heard into a cohesive vision. And then the third step is where we really refine this and start developing the comprehensive plan itself. So the end deliverable of phase 1 is an existing conditions report. Here's where we're all starting. It's something that the steering committee approves. Like, it's a part of the plan. And then in the Envision, we start coming up with the goals, and it's a work in progress, more public engagement. What do you guys think of this? And then phase 3 is a lot of refinement ending in the comprehensive plan. Okay, let's do then step on what we're looking at this week. This is where phase 1 starts off really in spirit, is with this engagement week. This isn't the end of public engagement for this process. I want to be clear about that. This is just the beginning. And so we have a lot of, so this is kind of the vision statement for what the week is. And then what I'd like to do is share with you some of the overall strategies that we have planned. Pop-up events. So you've all been to like open houses. And so, and we do have that element in this. But we are taking a more formalized, structured approach. Instead of having people just sort of cycle through, we're going to have really focused discussions with, we call it community conversations. And I'm very excited about this. It's going to be great. And I'll put in a quick note how wonderful Dan and his staff have been. Absolutely phenomenal in reaching out to community groups, reaching out to stakeholders, putting together focus groups for us. We can provide the structure and some guidance, but we don't have the channels of communication, the networks of communication that Dan and his staff do. So hats off to the phenomenal job they have done in organizing a lot of these groups. And so let's go to the next slide quickly. And it is a more structured schedule of events that you'll see here. And I know we already have an event tomorrow planned, a discussion, and I sure hope we can still do it. We have the snowblower path from the hotel to the car, and then the car to 25. But we'll get here. So I look forward to having in these focus groups. So FGs are all the focus groups there. And these are all very focused conversations. We do have a discussion plan prepared for each one, but there's and then a discussion plan for each of these different focus groups, because each one brings a different body of expertise, a different body of experience. So our questions are really meant to elicit some really pointed information and expertise that these groups can bring us. But then we also step back to some of the higher level questions. When you think about Monument in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, what does it look like? And so we're able to help our participants kind of shape some really cogent answers out of that. Hopefully think about Monument and planning in a way they haven't before. So these are always just really fun conversations. And we're meeting not only with the school district, but also with a group of high school students, which is also awesome. So we're looking forward to that a lot. The municipal neighbors, Palmer Lakes and the others here in the Tri-Lake region, looking forward to that. And then a lot of focus on downtown business owners. We're meeting with them, I think, twice specifically. So really looking forward to those conversations. Certainly the chamber is very active in the area. And the downtown master plan is a big part of the comprehensive plan. And so it's going to be really important to have detailed and ongoing discussions with the downtown business group. So those really conclude my formal comments. The team and I are here. We're happy to answer any questions about the week, the process itself, anything like that.
Excellent. Thank you. Questions or comments from council? Senna?
Hi there. I loved the presentation. Looking forward to meeting everybody. Should we be able to get out of our homes tomorrow? I'll be there in the morning.
Here's the hope. Thank you. Okay, Mayor.
Okay. We're the after hours event?
Mm-hmm. That's the only one that's interesting to you, really?
Well, they all are interesting. I just thinking about the ones I didn't get an invite to.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. I thank you so much, Andy.
Did you have it snowed over that one?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So the weather's kind of throw a curveball at us. First thing tomorrow morning, you will all be receiving an email from myself and Tina, giving you any updates. I still would like to have this as a focus group meeting with you at 10 a.m. here at Town Hall. But if the weather doesn't help us in any way, I'll go ahead and work with Will to set up a remote version of that meeting and invite you there. It's really important that we allow you to sound off and answer these questions up front and help set the tone of what your expectations are and your feelings are for the community over the next 5, 10, 15 years. So I hope we can get that situated. And then we're going to spend a lot of time tomorrow with Lakota Group, just taking them on a tour of the community. I welcome all of you to take a look at the schedule. If you're available to pop in at the end of a focus group to say hi and thank you to the people who have taken their time to meet with us, you're welcome to do so. But just keep a focus on the end of the meeting. We'll use you as a way to close out the meeting and get ready for the next one. I'm super excited to be working with this group, and even more excited to be working with the community and coming up with its next guiding principles for development and what it wants to be when it continues to grow up. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're very excited that you guys are all here. For those of you not used to the snow.
Oh, we're in Minnesota.
Oh, right. This is not going to compare to what you're used to. Yeah.
It sounds like we're in the clear after the month.
Yeah, because we'll have summer the day after.
Yeah, exactly.
And it will,
It's gonna be like 60 degrees the next day. So
it'll,
be great. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you all so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But we're in one day. Next up, we have an ordinance 05-2025, an ordinance approving a final plan unit development for Jackson Creek North Retail at Monument Marketplace, Lot 2. Mr. Ungerleider.
As I'm setting this up, I'm supposed to look at you all and say Dairy Queen. Okay. So,
This is about Dairy Queen. You don't have to even bother with the presentation.
well, that's what I figured. This is a public hearing, so I want to start off with Dairy Queen and Subway. So this is for one of the last properties here on the east side of Cinematic View off of Jackson Creek Parkway. The last one, if I recall correctly, you reviewed was Panda Express, and the previous to that was Ziggy's, which is under construction today. This is our retail building that will contain Subway. It actually is a replacement to the Subway that recently closed. It's the same owner, and in relation to that owner, they're also bringing Dairy Queen. First, to just make sure we're meeting the requirements for today's public hearing. This was noticed earlier for both Plan Commission and Town Council. The applicant is Zach Van Dyke of New Era Construction. He's seeking approval of a final plan unit development for Jackson Creek North Retail, which is on Lot 2, Monument Place North, filing number 1A, for the construction and operation of 2 restaurants, Dairy Queen and Subway, and additional retail space between them. As proposed, Dairy Queen is the sole restaurant with a drive-through. As I noted before, it's located at the north end of Cinematic View. The property to the north is vacant. Property to the south is Kentucky Fried Chicken. To the east is Jackson Creek Self-Storage. And to the west is vacant mixed-use PUD yet to be brought before. As I indicated earlier in previous presentations, the way this development was approved as it was approved as a preliminary plan unit development, requiring that as each site before they come to fruition, they must come in with a request for final plan unit development, and that's what they're asking for tonight. The site plan before you shows the retail building backing to a Cinematic View and facing Jackson Creek Parkway. They've got a significant number of parking stalls located in front of the retail space, as well as to the south adjacent to Kentucky Fried Chicken. There's also a sidewalk ramp connection to the public sidewalk on Jackson Creek Parkway. It's the same standard that was required for each of those uses on Cinematic View. There's also more than enough stacking between the menu board and the drive-through window for pickup. This is the image of the landscape plan, showing it be fully landscaped, meeting our standards. We actually, between Plan Commission and Council, we had them remove some of the landscaping because it was over landscaped. It was, so we appreciate them jumping to the hoops and fixing that. But this landscape plan meets our design standards for landscaping on retail and commercial properties. These are the elevations of the building. The top right image is the front of the building facing Jackson Creek Parkway. And the bottom below that is the rear image, or the rear of the building facing Cinematic View. All signs have been incorporated in there in the drawing as if there were four distinct retail spaces. Of course, those two spaces in the middle could be merged into one, and we would work with that as they came in. The proposed findings of fact that Plan Commission unanimously approved are here before you in this list and are included in my memorandum and the ordinance that I have before you. Be glad to cover these for you individually if you'd like, but they're standard, just showing that the project complies with the standards that are outlined in the code and the preliminary PUD. So the recommended action tonight is a motion to approve ordinance number 05-2025, granting a final plan unit development for Lot 2 of Monument Marketplace North, filing number 1A for the construction and operation of Jackson Creek Retail, supported by the documents that are attached with that ordinance and provided for below. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. The applicant is here too to answer any questions like when is Dairy Queen going to be open, and will it still be serving I forgot what they're called now. Blizzards. Yeah, no, I didn't want to say that out loud. So I'm available if you have any questions.
I've got two. One would be the condition that the planning commission set on the what you read.
Correct. That's been corrected as per these plans. There was they had landscaped similar to inside the property. They had landscaped the parkway. That's a problem for multiple reasons. Primarily because we're going to be coming through there in the near future to reconstruct the parkway and for the new road improvements. It's also becomes our requirement to maintain them over time without setting up another agreement. A Jackson Creek Parkway.
Yeah, but they're so far south. It's not. That's Triview.
Well, right, but it would be someone else's responsibility to take care of it. So we had to remove it.
Don't
Not
us
us.
on that.
Didn't make you. Yep. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. And the other question is for the applicant, I guess, is this a grill and chill? Oh, you're making a lot of people.
Grill and chill. Started with that.
Well, because I went past so many Dairy Queens on my drive back from Arizona in the middle of podunk towns, smaller than us, that they all said grill and chill. So I started getting questioned. Are they going to serve food besides ice cream? And there we go.
With that.
Other questions from the council?
I got one for you. So Cinematic is, we established that's a private street, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the Metro District takes care of the maintenance of that and the plowing and all of that, or is that a Triview thing?
That is correct.
But correct is it's
The Cinematic View is taken care of by Triview. Harness, the east-west road is not. That's a public street.
right. And that's the reason that because I mean, this comes up every time with planning commission too. That's the reason there's only a sidewalk on one side.
That's the way it was approved back when the original preliminary PUD came through. We've had a lot of conversation with Plan Commission about how in the future, when we have conversations about preliminary PUDs like this, we should be talking about those specific design elements. And we're going to certainly take a closer look at that when the mixed use piece or on the west side of Cinematic View comes in, to make sure that there's proper access for the people who might possibly live there or work there, can get to these retail spaces and the high school and so on. So the Plan Commission's been told to sit tight. We're going to work on it for the next big project. But given that these were all in a row, we wanted to make sure that we made them all comply with the same standard.
Sure. So when the rest of this site is built out, there's any crosswalks or anything to go across, or it's just, you just walk across wherever? If you're in those apartments or anything else that's gonna be built over on the other side.
Well, I think the correct crosswalk would be at Harness, at the north end. But most likely I mean, it's a slow, quiet street. You'll probably see people crossing in mid-block.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
Was there, I'm looking at the elevation plans. Was there a discussion about the color scheme of the building?
There was not.
That's something that could or should be discussed till we, I guess what I'm getting at is that, so we don't have, because we're gonna have, yeah, you know, I know like KFC's next door, they have white. And then I believe the coffee shop's gonna be more of a stone color. So we don't, you know, Whataburger's further down the road, but it's all orange. Instead of having different color schemes, that we have something more cosmetically.
Yeah, for the most part, it's gonna be like a composite siding, kind of a look mainly like a wood grain, essentially. Now, Dairy Queen will have its own,
Size.
yeah, they will have their own kind of standard of look on the building, and will go more with their color scheme to make them stand out. But as a whole, the rest of the building is kind of cohesive all the way around. Okay.
And do we have an idea of the hours of operation that we're talking about?
And then along with that, the lighting, post hours of operation, lighting piece.
So the application actually includes the detailed photometrics for the site and how the parking lot lighting is, and any lighting coming off the building. So they do comply with our code. What I wanted to also say, because the Plan Commission's been great throughout this process of Ziggy's and Panda Express and then this one, because they're asking the same questions you are. We don't have a design guideline for cinematic view. So that's why you have a Kentucky Fried Chicken that looks the way it does and in its branding. Ziggy's, I think we're fortunate that their branding is something that is probably more of the style of what we're looking for. And Panda Express is a little bit different too. So this one's going to be a third or another one. And again, in the future, as we're looking at doing mixed use developments like this, we should be talking about what kind of standards are. And the comprehensive plan is going to drive a lot of that. Because what are our expectations and how can we direct staff to work with the developer to set those elements up front?
Yeah, at some point we should have design standards. I mean, I've talked about this for a while, but I know it's a long process. We're getting built out, and by the time we get them done, we won't have anything to use them on.
So I mean, it's Andy's description, but part of the scope for the comprehensive plan was to do corridor design guidelines. So Jackson Creek Parkway, for instance, is considered a corridor, and we're going to talk about setting certain standards. Might not be all the way down to the micro level, but we're going to have certain standards of what might be color or presence. Is the building located and along Jackson Creek Parkway, or is it located back? We're going to have those conversations during the comp plan. And I would say that a year and a half is going to go by rather quickly. I think we're going to get ahead of a lot of stuff. But it's going to require the community to come together and have that conversation.
Also, just to ensure that we're using dark sky lighting in the parking lot and off the building itself.
So it's complying with we've reviewed the detailed photometrics that were provided with the site plan, and it does comply with our code.
Do we have any idea what has there been any takers for the other 2 units?
Yeah, we have a massage and sauna concept looking at it right now, but it hasn't been decided or at least signed as of right now. So we're looking at that. And then we have maybe an insurance office that would go into one of the spaces also. So
What about a snowbahn?
what?
Snowbahn,
I don't know if I know what that is.
indoor ski.
Oh, well, you
It's
can
a-
ski
it's a-
outside.
Well, but Highlands Ranch has one, so we go up there and use it.
Okay.
It's a extremely well set up where you're actually snowboarding or skiing on wet carpet the ramps can elevate.
Now that you're talking about, it, I've seen this before. Yes.
Yeah.
You can put that in that size.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you want to open one up?
I would love to.
And to answer your guys' question about hours of operation, we're looking at 10 a.m. to about 11 p.m. as of right now. But it'll depend on business and hours can fluctuate a little bit, but that's what we're looking at the moment. Okay. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
If there's no other questions, and this is a public hearing item, we will open it up for the public to speak regarding this ordinance. If there is anybody here who would like to speak for or against this ordinance. People from the public. Anybody online, Will? Okay, then we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the council for further discussion or a motion.
I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 05/2025, an ordinance approving a final plan unit development for Jackson Creek North Retail at Monument Marketplace North Lot 2.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Ms. Erickson?
Councilmember Chronic,
Yes.
Mayor LaKind,
Yes.
Councilmember Abbott,
Yes.
Councilmember Romanello,
Yes.
Councilmember Kimple,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem King,
Yes.
Councilmember Fiorito.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. We look forward to you opening in May, I heard. No. 2020, no,
26, yeah, right.
October, right?
Yes, October is our goal.
Grill and chill in October.
Grill and chill, man. Burger and ice cream cone.
There you go.
All right, next up, Resolution 15, 2025, a resolution approving a project participation agreement with the Pikes Peak Regional Water Authority for a regional indirect potable reuse project study. Mr.
Good-
Tarnish.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. The resolution you have in front of you tonight is the town is a member of the Pikes Peak Regional Water Authority, does these project participation agreements quite often. And sometimes they're related to business of the authority. And we got a lot of members. I think there's 9 members involved in this current project. So everybody that participates in this will have access to the information and the data that's derived from it. And if you look at the agreement that was in the package, it talks about the project study is defined. And it's a lot of familiarity to most of us in the Water Authority because everybody's pursuing reuse in one fashion or another. This project here is really more or less a countywide project. It involves everything going on with the county itself. It goes into a lot of detail about participants and obligations. Anyway, bottom line is this project estimated cost is about $349,000, but out of that, just under 250,000 is through a Colorado Water Conservation Board grant. And then Colorado Springs Utilities is donating $40,000 towards it. The remaining amount is split among the 9 members at the $2,187.50 amount. Main reason it's coming before you is not because of the cost, because normally this will be handled at my level or at Madeline's level. It's that it requires the mayor's signature. And
My pen ran out of ink.
I got an extra in case you need it. So
Everybody's got
if you have questions, I'm more than willing to try to answer them. Again, CSU is heading this up, but there is a benefit to all the Regional Water Authority members, and we're looking forward to gaining as much information as we can. Small price to pay for the amount of, I think, data and information we're going to gain.
Okay. Any comments or questions from members of the council?
how long does this study
I,
go on for?
Yeah.
And like, how long does it, a couple questions. How long does the study take? And then how long is that, the results of that study good for to implement any changes
I
before
believe
another
there,
one has to be done?
I believe there is a date in here out to December of 2026,
Oh, okay.
somewhere in this agreement. I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember
was
which,
looking
exactly
for it
which
in the agreement.
page. And then I would imagine that the data, as the data is gained, being that I have to go to these monthly meetings for this regional water authority, there'll be updates that come out of that and any information that is beneficial to us in our pursuit of reuse, which we've been dealing with for quite a few years. We would bring that back to help us in our future endeavors, whether we're going to pursue this or the loop or the NDS, anything along those lines.
Is this something separate from the loop?
Yes,
Oy.
this is a separate study brought on recently from, it's the same subject. It's an indirect potable reuse project. And the idea behind it is they're going to explore similar type reasoning behind what we do, how we do it. And it's going to get a little different perspective than what we pursued so far with both our current alternatives. So again, the CSU is doing the majority of the work for this. And most of it is funded by grants and by cash from CSU to begin with. Our participation, again, is not to exceed amount of 2,187.
And based on the participating entities,
Yes.
short of Cherokee, and Palmer Lake, looks like you got all the original members of the Loop Authority up here, and we've added a few additional. So this would be, economies of scale would be very regional, which, and especially with truly regional, especially with Tribu's participation. I mean,
Right.
that's,
You got all the, is Palmer Lake on here?
no,
They're not. I can remember going back quite a few years. I believe they attempted to be part of the PPRWA, but no one would ever show up from that town. So, well, that's, there's always an open invitation, but participation is sparse.
okay. Well, I do like the idea that it is,
To the mayor's point, we've got, at the very least, we've got northern El Paso County-ish minus 3,000 people, plus a whole slew of other
I
folks
guess the
further
disappointed
south.
that Cherokee is not in this because they seem
That's
to,
surprising, actually.
with their infrastructure,
Yes.
especially their,
But it's not surprising based on their current state.
right, no, I get it. They went a different direction. So, all right, well, this is great that, I wish this would have happened a couple of years ago. But
We
Yeah.
say that at every meeting about everything, about everything.
so is there any other questions or comments before we get ourselves in trouble?
Just be thankful we're doing it now.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Well, I will make a motion to approve resolution 15/2025, a resolution approving a project participation agreement with the Pikes Peak Regional Water Authority for a regional indirect potable reuse project study.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Erickson.
Councilmember Romanella,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem King,
Yes.
Councilmember Fiorito,
Yes.
Councilmember Abbott,
Yes.
Councilmember Chronic,
Yes.
Mayor LaKine,
Yes,
Councilmember Kimpel.
Yes.
motion passes 7-0. Excellent. We'll move on to public comments for items not on the agenda. Individuals attending in person may raise their hand to indicate their desire to comment. Individuals attending via Teams may raise their hand digitally to comment via connected devices. Please lower your hand when finished with your comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Is there any members of the public that have, what? Come on down.
hand.
Come on down.
Let the clock begin.
No clock for Haley.
Good evening, council members. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I wanted to share with you a letter that one of our staff has written and submitted to. Thank you. So this is written by one of our staff members. In 2024, I have had the privilege of witnessing Officer Kelly Fisher's unwavering dedication to the monument community. Through her steadfast commitment to public safety, she has continued to lead with integrity, professionalism, and compassion. Officer Fisher has navigated challenges with resilience, adapting to evolved circumstances while maintaining deep sense of service to those she protects. Her ability to build trust and foster positive relationships within the community has strengthened, demonstrating her exceptional leadership and perseverance. While responding to difficult situations or engaging in community outreach, Officer Fisher consistently goes above and beyond, making a lasting impact to those she serves. Some of the accomplishments that we highlighted: community outreach and engagement. Officer Fisher has actively worked to build trust with communities, particularly by treating vulnerable individuals with dignity and respect. Crisis intervention and support. She has effectively assisted individuals in crisis, ensuring they receive proper resources and compassionate care. Advocacy for the vulnerable. She has gone above and beyond to protect and support at-risk populations, including the homeless, elderly, and those facing hardship. Strengthening communities and police relations. Officer Fisher has played a key role in fostering positive relationships between local businesses, law enforcement, creating a safer and more welcoming environment for both businesses and business owners and customers. By supporting vulnerable populations, by treating monuments' most at-risk individuals with dignity and respect, she has helped to bridge the gap between law enforcement, social services, and businesses that interact with these populations. Officer Fisher's impact in business community growth and success, and her efforts have led to increased trust in local law enforcement, encouraging collaboration between police and business owners. Businesses feel more supported and secure, fostering a stronger local economy. And by helping vulnerable individuals access appropriate resources, she has contributed to a healthy, more sustainable community. There's more I can read, but obviously not having much time. Our staff all do a vote on who we want to submit as Tri-Lakes Cares nomination for all the categories of the Chamber Awards. And it was a very strong vote for Officer Fisher from our team, that she engages with a lot of different people on our team and makes a very positive impact in helping us do the work that we do well and serve the community. And so I just wanted to share with you a little bit about our nomination and take a moment to say thank you for your support in the team members that are out there serving the community. They make a really big difference in the community, and they help us to make a really big difference. So just wanted to share that.
You missed one element.
Thank you.
Thought about she walks on water. Oh. Yeah.
If only she was here that we could thank her
Yeah,
personally. Oh, there she is.
No, we have several Officer Fishers. I'm just trying to figure out. if there's more than
She did say Kelly.
one. Oh, she did say Kelly. Okay.
Yes.
Nice job. Kelly.
Well done,
Awesome
well
job.
done.
Great job, Billy.
Great job.
From all of us, we appreciate your service in helping us do the great work we do. So thank you very much. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you too, Kelly.
Yes, very much.
Well, if there's anybody else that has a public comment, you are not going to be able to follow that.
No, I wasn't.
Is there anybody online, Will, that wants to make a public comment? Okay, so we will conclude public comment, move on to our interim town manager's favorite topic, future agenda item authorization.
Just one for tonight, council. We'd like to, in a future meeting, have a conversation about a potential active adult center that Silver Key is working towards. This is a project we've sort of been involved with, but we'd like to talk a little bit more about that as a group in a coming meeting.
What is we'll discuss our role. That's if we have a role. We have to decide if we're going to have a role. But what is the next available meeting that does not look too heavy that we can discuss this on?
The 17th could be a possibility. However, I want to make sure that we have enough time that would only give us about a week or so. So I'm suggesting maybe April 7th.
Okay, everybody good with April 7th?
Sure.
That is all I have for this.
Hard to believe, but okay. He's really working that.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
A little scary.
Snap the ball.
Any council comments?
I have one. A stronger lighter. This is very cool. It's not just a coaster. I don't know if anybody's even looked at it. This is a, it's a paper coaster and you plant it and you watch wildflowers grow. Very
And it-
cool.
And it has a
Thank you.
QR code because the flowers can read QR.
Thank you. Yeah, the whole purpose of the comprehensive plan is planting a seed and seeing where it goes. So we're going to be handing these out over the next 3 days, and hopefully we'll order some more. But thank you for noticing that. We try to do everything with some form of symbolism and also an important message. So thank you.
What does the pen do?
It writes, it signs
It allows
ordinances
you to
and
sign
approves
ordinances.
things.
That's right. Start signing.
That'd be great. Any other council comments?
You can have staff just remind for people that are watching online and then watch the recording afterward about the events coming up. Wednesday at Bear Creek, and then obviously the police award ceremony as well. Wednesday.
Ceremony?
Yeah, it's not a public event.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then if we can mention the Bear Creek and the comprehensive
that.
plan.
So thank you for bringing that up, Councilor Kimball. So the community conversation that Andy Cross was referencing earlier at tonight's meeting, we will be having the community conversation at 5 o'clock at Bear Creek Elementary School in their gymnasium. We've got room for hundreds and hundreds of people. We're going to provide a kind of a quick synopsis of what we're starting here during engagement week, and then we're going to have a breakout session where we've got 6 topics to talk about with the people who are participating, and go through a similar kind of focus group conversation with those people at those tables, and then bring it back together at the end before 6:30. It'll be great to watch our consultant team engage. And I really hope that everyone and their neighbors and their friends can come out that evening to begin the process of developing our comprehensive plan with us. Thank you.
Member Abbott, do you have anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Move on to an executive session. Anybody want to make a motion for the? It really depends on if there's any action that we need to take. I don't believe there will be because this is a performance review. And that given that we've all had opportunity to see the performance review, we'll still have an interim town manager after the performance review. So no action to take.
All right, so I'll make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to section 24-6-402 sub 4 sub F CRS regarding personnel matters involved in the performance review of the interim town manager who has been notified of the executive session, and adjourn afterwards.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Before you take roll, I guess I should ask. It says you've been notified and you are in agreement to do this in executive session.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, then will you please take roll?
Councilmember Chronic,
Yes.
Councilmember Romanello,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem King,
Yes.
Councilmember Kimpel,
Yes.
Mayor LaKind,
Yes.
Councilmember Abbott,
Yes.
Councilmember Fiorito.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that motion passes 7-0. We will be adjourning after the executive session. We are going to clear the room and give Councilmember Abbott and our attorney time to transition to the other team's meeting. And with that, we'll take a 5-10 minute recess.